Patreon Q&A number 98. I want to thank all 125 of my amazing patrons. Guys, thank you so much for continuing to support me the way that you have been. To everyone else listening, there's going to be spoilers for all of the series I'm talking about, so tread carefully. Elle asks, you got a lot of interesting video topics coming up, but I simply can't wait that long. Mainly the Goku versus Saitama. Would like to hear some of your thoughts, process into power scaling Saitama. Seems difficult. I mean, it's hard to say what percentage of Saitama's true strength we've seen. Could be anywhere from 0.1 to 50%. I'm guessing around 10%. Though. Take care. So this is a good time to announce it that I am going to be making the fabled Goku versus Saitama video during peak week this December. Just like last December, I'm going to be dropping bomb after bomb of videos, kind of like WrestleMania month or something with all main events. Because it's like the perfect time to do it because it's like the peak time of YouTube. And hopefully COVID doesn't disrupt that this year. But regardless, I'm still going to be doing it. And I'm going to start my 12-week camp, I guess you could say, at like the end of September or maybe the beginning of October, because, I need to go through Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super all over again, and that's going to be time-consuming and all the notes and everything that I need to do. And then as for the Saitama side of things, I already kind of have the answer in my head as to the true power of Saitama, or at least what we can see on the surface. As you say, we don't know. And of course, I will be addressing that in my Saitama power scaling video that I'm going to be making leading up to the Goku versus Saitama video. But I am also going to be super honest in the video. I'm not really that tribalistic, guys, and some of you might think that I am, but just because I follow One Punch Man and I'm very critical of Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball doesn't mean that I'm going to put down Goku or I'm going to raise up Saitama. I'm going to look at it objectively as I can. And I know that the answer is going to be extremely polarizing. You can't please everyone, especially in the anime community, considering how you guys treat it like politics a lot of the times. I mean, just today on Twitter alone, there was a One Piece versus My Hero war that was just so unnecessary. But anyway, yeah, guys, look out for it. In December, Goku versus Saitama, along with a whole bunch of other bangers out there. What Elle is talking about here, how he knows I'm going to make that video, is because on the Patreon page, I showed a list of videos that I'm going to be making, and that is one of them. So if you'd like to see the upcoming schedule, check out the Patreon, guys. Hey, that's awesome, Beowulf. And yes, I do know about that figure. I was following it since its inception, when they had the 3D art up for it. So that's pretty cool that you were able to get one of the 300 that were made. So your first question is, if you had to pick a character to cosplay and go to a convention as, who would it be? I probably won't ever cosplay, not because I'm embarrassed or anything. It's just something I'm not really that interested in. I mean, if a cosplay company approached me and sent me the stuff and wanted me to work with them for a promotion or something, yeah, I would do it. But the only character I'm really interested in doing is Red Garo from chapter 129. I think I could do him justice. I definitely have his build. I mean, I'm not as big and have freakish back like him, but I think I could do realistic justice to his aesthetics. Granted, if I got a good enough wardrobe. Second question, do I think that Fubuki is going to defeat Psychos in the manga version? Yes, it is. It's integral to Fubuki's character, as well as being integral to the overall story for Fubuki to defeat Psychos. Because we need to have the flashback of them in high school and learning about the third eye ability and going into the future and how that ties into God. And also the whole thing with Fubuki meeting her at jail later on and breaking her out and where everything that's going to lead. And also the whole, reveal of the psychic whirlwind ability that Fubuki does to defeat her. So yeah, absolutely that is going to happen. Chance asks, hey Shonen, I'd like to hear your thoughts on comparing Murata to Oda. Who do you think is the better artist? So of course, super subjective when we're talking about art mostly, and everybody sees things differently. But I think Murata is not only better than Oda, but he's way better than Oda. Now, granted, Oda's mind is a very eclectic one. He is an artistic genius because, he can craft the greatest battle manga story ever. On top of that being a pretty great artist as well, as where Murata's mind kind of just goes towards the art. And less towards the storytelling. He does that with his choreography and character designs and everything, which he is, top-notch at as well. But Murata, in my opinion, is one of the greatest battle manga artists of all time. There's only really a handful of other artists who are up there with him, in my opinion. There's like Yasuhisa Hara, the guy who does Kingdom, Boichi, who does Dr. Stone, and then Miura, who does Berserk. It's like those guys are like in the very top tier of artistry. Cool Mitch 987 asks, hey Z, you've already answered this in a question in a former video, but do you think Blast and Blue will fight each other? It's hard to say. I think that they're going to have some kind of conflict for sure, but it ultimately depends on how it's going to happen, because at this point it seems like Blue is going to go after Saitama in the next few chapters, because obviously he's going to show up when the other dragons do, because he's on his way there. And I don't know, maybe, because Blue has the beef with him over a My Mask. So maybe like Blue tries to go after Saitama. Saitama, pimp smacks him or something. And then Blast shows up. It's like, hey, why'd you pimp smack my son? He's not an orphan. It's not okay to do that. And then maybe Blue's like, shut up, Dad. Get out of here. And then like Blue tries to like go after Blast. And then Blast is like, shut up. And then, Blue jobs to Blast. But regardless, if they do fight, I don't think it would be much of a challenge. Like, Blast would just completely dominate Blue. Copyable Jet0521 asks, hey, Shona, love your content, man. I've been thinking recently about the future potential of Orochi in the story. Do you think he's going to transform back into a human with a mix of his monster and above dragon level threat hybrid abilities? But do you think there's a possibility that he's going to survive after this arc? Unfortunately, no. I don't really see any future for Orochi in this story. And that's just because it's kind of how one set him up at this point. Like, he gave him little to no development or backstory at all. Like, for example, like when we actually get to see what his human form was like, it's just a black, silhouette. Which I think kind of cemented that, yeah, Orochi's pretty much not going anywhere. He's just there to be a big looming threat, and now seemingly just a power up for Psychos. So yeah, I think once Orochi kicks the bucket, which I think is going to be pretty soon, he's probably done for good. If he does come back, like if he can still stay alive in his goop form and then return in a later arc, kind of like how Elder Toguro did in Yu Yu Hakusho. Spoilers for Yu Yu Hakusho. I think it'll be something like that at the most. But other than that, I think he's done. Crusader Deus Volt asks, all praise Z-Man. He has given us a new chapter. The mere mortals don't know it was you who used your swoliness. I like that word. To make Murata draw the new chapter and Deus Volt into the Holy Land. First diet's been going good. I hope you're doing great. Just remember, your vids make a lot of people happy. Hey, thank you for your kind words, Crusader. First question, is Genos able to do pretty well against Monster Oroshi's blast? Any hurt Tatsumaki? Do you think Genos could defeat Elder Centipede now? Hard to say. I mean, if he did his 10-second blast like he did to deflect Sairochi, it would definitely do some damage to Elder Centipede. I mean, if the Void Aura Ripping Fist was able to crack his carapace, which I know there's a whole deep lore to what Murata said to justify it. I don't know how truthful that is. I know he probably talked over it with one. Oh, it's just so annoying. I think he defeating Elder Centipede is hard to say because he was so outrageously powerful. But I would just say that he would hurt him. He would do way better, for sure. But let's just see more of Genos before we start saying if he could truly defeat somebody on the level of Elder Centipede at this point. I honestly don't know. Second question, do you think Boros could defeat Sairochi? Yeah, he would probably have to go Meteoric Burst. Maybe released form could defeat her. I mean, if Tatsumaki was fast enough to evade Sairochi and all that stuff, then Boros would be way faster than that, and obviously he's way more powerful. But regardless, yeah, I don't see Sairochi being able to defeat Boros, even with the feats that she's shown. Dino W asks, hey, Shona back again for another Q&A. Actually, I got a few questions in the live stream, so here are some fresh ones. Now that Genos and his Daedric form has been shown to have enough power to somewhat contend with a stacked monster like Sairochi, do you think that in a rematch against all of his previous opponents, he would win? So this is going back to what I was talking about, the Elder Centipede. I don't know about Elder Centipede. Goketsu, the blast could kill Goketsu, but it's a whole different story about him hitting Goketsu. Like, is he faster than Goketsu at this point? Unsure, but if I had to bet on Daedric Generator's Goketsu, I'd put it on Goketsu, because you guys know how much I love Goketsu and how much I hype him up, but I'm pretty sure he could probably defeat Carnage Kabuto, maybe. Carnage Kabuto, it's also like, could he evade the blast? I mean, if he took it head on, he would be vaporized for sure, in my opinion, but you know, hitting him is a whole nother story. And then Mosquito Girl and Deep Sea King, they would have been defeated by G4, not G4, EC Genos anyway. So no problem for them. Second question, now that Kirishima's origin moment has been somewhat recreated in both Ashido and Gigantomachia at present, do you think that Red Riot will get a big moment to clash with the Giant? I didn't even really think about Kirishima because they haven't really been focusing on him. I know that he's there, and Yaoyorozu actually gave him one of the sedative vial things. So, yeah, I guess this could be his moment. I mean, it was more so set up for it to be Ashido's moment, which I do think it's going to be. And like I said in my review, it's possible she could be sacrificing herself. But, you know, maybe Kirishima comes in at the last second and helps her or something. Kirishima isn't going to die here because he is the third user of One for All, after all, and he has to tie into that whole, timeline, time travel stuff. Yeah, I know you guys don't like it, but hey, sometimes the truth sucks. Free t-shirts ask, yo, Shona, let's get straight to the question. How strong is Genos in the manga now? We're all wondering it. We know he's a dragon, but where does the guy land? Love the content. Keep it up. Hey, thank you, free t-shirts. Well, I don't even really think we're going to get an accurate answer to this at this point. I mean, I'm going to make a video about this tomorrow going over everything that I can about Genos, but considering that, like, it seems like he went straight into the 10-second mode, it's hard to say, like, what he is just as base Daedric Genos. I mean, maybe I guess he's a low dragon. I mean, I guess he's got to be, right? I mean, but the 10-second mode, that is, I don't know. I mean, if he can destroy the meteor with his one shot, it's got to be high dragon for sure, right? If he can one-shot a dragon level, it's got to be around that level of power. So 10-second mode Genos seems like a pretty solid high dragon to me. Garden Shed asks, hey Shonen, I'm reading a lot of the new manga on Shonen Jump. Mora King, Undead plus Unluck, Hardboiled Cop, and a Dolphin, and Mashal. Are there any other new manga you're reading that you'd recommend? Mashal. I mean, we're both reading it appears, and I'm loving it, man. I'm loving Mashal. Probably won't be covering it on the channel for a very long time, simply because I don't have enough influence to garner any kind of attention to the videos that I would make on it. Now, maybe I'll make one video talking about the series. Maybe I'll make it with Turtle Cork eventually, but like reviewing the chapters, that won't happen for a very long time. I tried to do it with Samurai 8. And that definitely didn't work out. So once like Mashal gets an anime, that's when I'll start covering it. But until then, I will be reading. It is the future of Shonen, in my opinion. It's fantastic. Garrett M asks, hey Shonen, new Patreon supporter. Love all the work, and I'm so glad I can support. Hey, thank you, Garrett. I really appreciate that. My question is, do you think that Regan from Mob Psycho has charm powers like King from One Punch Man, or is he just that much of an experienced con artist? So yeah, it's pretty much the latter here. King, in my opinion, of course, has a real supernatural ability connected to him, known as the Aura, as I have dubbed it, taking some liberties from one's tweets from 10 years ago. But Regan, granted, I also haven't finished the Mob Psycho webcomic / manga. I've only seen season 1 and season 2 once, so I'm very rough on Mob Psycho, but I saw enough to gather that Regan didn't have an ability like King. He was more so just a charismatic con artist. Garuda asks, hey Shonen, going off of Psycho's most recent feed, do you think that Tatsumaki could surpass her in raw power if she consumed a monster cell? Thanks. So I don't think a monster cell would really do much for Tatsumaki at this point, because when you eat a monster cell, it makes you as powerful as you can become. Like, it unlocks your potential, and that's it. So, like, how much stronger could Tatsumaki be? Like, it kind of seems like she's at the peak of her power at this point, considering she's above dragon in strength. And I know a lot of that inherently came from her being born that way. I mean, they literally say in the webcomic, is she a monster? Which I'll make a video about, of course. But at this point, I mean, I just don't think the monster cell would do much. But if it did, and it made her even stronger, then yeah, for sure she could suppress Sairochi at that point. Joe D asks, hey Z, if you had a My Hero quirk, what would you want it to be and what would you call it? Hey, so you're in luck, because I'm going to have a video coming out about this very soon. I actually have commissioned this awesome artist who is making this for me as we speak. Like, the Shonen Big Z My Hero character, like what he looks like, his quirk, all the explanations, everything to it. And this guy is great. Like, he looks like his work looks like he works for Bones or something. Like, he's so incredibly talented. And I'm so excited to get this video made. Like, I know that only like 600 people are going to watch the video anyway, but I'm just going to make it just for the love of it, because it was pretty expensive to get that commission, and I'm sure I won't get a return on my investment on it, but it's fine because it's going to look cool. Question 2, will we see Manga Blast in the next arc, and what do you think he will look like if we do? Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the Psychic Sisters arc, we will see Blast for sure. Now, how it's going to happen timeline in the manga, not really sure. I assume it'll line up at the same time, because it kind of has to, you know, after her whole scuffle with Saitama, she's going to have the flashback. And when we do see what he looks like in the manga, it's going to be pretty much the same. Like a front view of him, and his face will be shadowed, but just expect like a person that looks like a younger version of the bearded worker without the beard. Just Blaze YT asks, Sup Shonens, I came back from my Patreon hiatus with more money to fill your pockets with. Hey, thank you, Just Blaze, for coming back. I appreciate it, my bruh. First question is, with the new feats we have seen from Sairochi and Tatsumaki, now if they were individually put in a fight against the entire Monster Association, could they beat the associations in their separate fights? Yeah, I think so at this point. I mean, Sairochi, that one God Blast that she did, that could wipe out the entire Monster Association itself. I mean, maybe it wouldn't kill everyone. Hard to say. I would love to see who would be able to survive that from the cadres. Like, who would be walking after taking that blast head on. And then Tatsumaki, I mean, she already kind of soloed the Monster Association in a way, like in the manga and in the webcomic. The only one that would really give her some issues is, like, if Golden S came out, but then even one said that he could defeat her. So, I mean, I don't see why Tatsumaki at full power wouldn't be able to solo the Monster Association. I mean, even Orochi in there, possibly. The second question is, do you think Tatsumaki could at least lift up a continent with her powers due to the fact that she tanked a continent-busting attack from Sairochi? Well, you know, Murata said that she can lift Z City with ease. Now, is he being hyperbolic? Yeah, of course, but so am I. And also, we always have to say, take what Murata says with a grain of salt, because we never know if this is like him going over this stuff with one, or if he's just, you know, saying, hey guys, this is just my opinion. It's never really like that. I mean, sometimes he clarifies it, but I think Tatsumaki, you know, high diff, going full power, maybe could lift a continent, like, you know, get to the point of where blood is rushing down her head because it's so stressful. I mean, maybe she could do it. Kolar asks, hey Shonen, hope you're doing well. Hey, I am. Thank you, Kolar. I hope you are too. What would happen if Saitama was blood? What would happen if Saitama was bloodlusted towards King? If King could survive, how? I want to make a video about King versus Saitama in the future. But if Saitama... it's just thinking about Saitama being bloodlusted is just funny to me. I don't know, because it would ultimately come down to, is King's aura more powerful than Saitama's limiter removed power? I mean, obviously King couldn't conjure anyone to defend him against Saitama. I mean, he could put up meat shields, but they would eventually run out. So I guess it would either come down to whose power is greater. So if the aura is greater than Saitama's power, then King would just have probability always favor him to the point where Saitama could never touch him. You know, name it, whatever would happen. Saitama, like, I don't know, breaks his arms, breaks his own arms, or breaks, I don't know, or contracts some kind of disease, or I don't know, something hurts Saitama that's just unexpected. Or he just kills King because he's stronger than the aura. Legendarius asks, hey Shonen, instead of the villains in the USJ arc, we replaced them with Deep Sea King and his goons. So it would kind of be similar, because Deep Sea King is very imposing and has a similar skill set to the USJ Nomu. Now, probably not as strong as him. I'm pretty sure he's weaker than him. So maybe they would have more success. I mean, like I said in the previous Q&A, Aizawa would be pretty much useless here. He wouldn't have any advantage that he did before, because, you know, the Deep Sea King and the Sea Folk don't have quirks, but I don't know, maybe the other heroes would be able to be of more use, I suppose. But once Old Might showed up, it would be game over. He would completely destroy Deep Sea King. Mick HS3 asks, Shonen, the 69-cent patron has returned, hopefully more than 1 month, but I only have 40 cents left in my bank account right now. Hey Mick, I know the struggle, my friend. I've been there. I've been there with negative money in my account, so I appreciate so much that you're still deciding to support me, despite the lack of funds that you have, my friend. So I was rewatching Season 1, Alien Invasion Mini-Arc, when I realized that supports Blast being the bearded worker. Oh, do you think the person Tatsumaki talks with on the phone is Blast? I find it hard to believe that anyone else would tell her what to do. Also on the airplane, we see the beard worker's assistant, the glasses guy. You're talking about the bespectacled worker, who is definitely tied to Blast in some way. Maybe he was his sidekick or something. Maybe I'll make a video about that. But also, we always have to remember that a lot of the sequences, especially with the bearded worker in Season 1, are anime exclusive. Like, they don't have it in the manga, so not really canon. It was a lot of liberties taken by Madhouse and Bones, the production staff that was in control of this. So, I assume that she was talking to the bearded worker on the phone, considering that, the bespectacled worker was on the plane working the computer, so this is their operation, probably. And also, the person that she was talking to sounded concerned for her, and we saw that he was concerned for her earlier when he was talking about the ghost town of Z City. So, yeah. It's hard to say that, if Tatsumaki is truly aware that the bearded worker is Blast, but I'm thinking that she's just playing along at this point with him. And also all anime exclusive sequences, so it's hard to say for sure, but regardless, the bearded worker is Blast. Mr. Awesome asks, hey Shonen, it's currently 5 a.m. and 69 degrees. Nice. My first question is, could Prime All Might take a full contact serious punch from Saitama and survive? So, I talked about how I was going to be making Goku versus Saitama in the beginning of this video, but another video I'm going to be making in December is Prime All Might versus Saitama. So I honestly don't have a clear answer to your question yet, but in December when I make that video, I will. Second question is, who would win in a fight between E-Iron and Garo without the water stream? Like he was in the first half of his fight with Tank Top Master. Hey, that's a pretty good question. Hope you have been having a good day, Z-Boy. You rock. Hey, thank you, Mr. Awesome. So, I'm still thinking Garo could take E-Iron. E-Iron has had some pretty impressive feats in the manga, especially with the retcons and everything. But, man, I don't... Even without the water stream, I think Garo could take him. It would be much more difficult for him to for sure, but I really don't see E-Iron's physicality being greater than that of Hero Hunter Garo. That's really hard to believe. Nico L asks, hey man, so I was thinking, have you ever seen the Avatar series, The Last Airbender, The Legend of Korra? No, I have not seen those series, but trust me, I know that they are held in extremely high regard, like GOAT status pretty much. Anyway, in the series, there is a select few benders that have a special relationship with their element, meaning that they can do special stuff with it. Like one person can bend blood since he is a water bender. And I was thinking that what if this is what happened with Blast and Blue and One Punch Man, and they are just special class of psychics specializing in energy rather than just telekinesis. Hey, that's a pretty cool theory there. Pretty sure somebody else was talking to me about this in the last Q&A, or one of the last few Q&As, and this is a pretty good way to sum up that theory. Because, like you say here, the eye lasers and the data book and Psychos using them. And also, we can't forget that, I think it was chapter 106 or 107, one of those chapters when, Tatsumaki is fighting, the Giro Giro puppet. She says, ooh, an elegant nuance of your Esper abilities. So that's another little giveaway right there. So maybe Blast and Blue are special types of Espers. I think that would be a pretty cool twist. Proask asks, hey up Shonen, how is it? Pulling a sneaky spelling on you this time. Hey, nice. Do you think anyone else in the One Punch Man universe has something similar to Garo's protagonist growth ability? Perhaps a Blast, for example. Keep it short and sweet this week, boss man. I hope you're keep your good work coming. Hey, thank you. So, I don't know. I don't think anybody else really has this ability. Maybe no, I don't know. I don't think anybody has this, at least that we have seen so far. And I would be fine if it's just Garo that has this ability. It also plays into the narrative of his character after all, but I don't think Blast has it if anyone does. Blast is just he's already gifted with his energy manipulating abilities that he has, and he's just a pure powerhouse. I don't really think he has to evolve and grow on the fly the way that Garo does, because he's probably always at peak power. But who else could have it? I I don't think anyone else at this point. Maybe Glasses. Maybe Glasses will develop that ability. That would be pretty cool. Rudy Hawk asks, hey Z-Man, hope your week is going great. Hey, it is. Thank you, Rudy Hawk. I hope yours is too. Weird, fun question for you. If Zombie Man were to be punched by Saitama, would he survive? Probably not. I mean, I guess the most powerful thing that Saitama has taken, or not Saitama, that Zombie Man has taken is like Homeless Emperor's blasts, right? I mean, that we've seen at least. I don't want to go into whatever his audio book or whatever other feats, pseudo feats that he has. I just don't see him taking a punch from Saitama. I mean, we're looking at the, you know, like high dragons above dragons. They're the type of character that could take that type of punch. And I'm thinking that he would explode or just die. Thighs of Zeus asks, hey Shonen, just noticed something through a weird series of coincidence. While drawing Blast suit kind of looks like a normal business suit. The zipper could be a small tie and the fire pattern could be the opening of the jacket. Could this be an intentional visual nod to Superman usually wearing a suit under the business suit, or is it too much of a reach? Hey, Thighs of Zeus, I'm liking where your mind's going. I'm liking it. I didn't think about that myself, but now I'm thinking about it, and it's making sense to me. Now, also, I am pretty much the leader of the Blasted the Bearded Worker cult at this point, so anything you say, I'm just going to agree with. So, hey, I'm on board. For my second question, I want to know if you think Tank Top Master will ever consider the possibility of wearing multiple tank tops, and how far in the Dash level would this increase him, if not skyrocket him? Skyrocket him past above dragon easily, thanks show place like so. Take it easy as always. Thank you. Thighs of Zeus. So it's possible that Tank Top Master already tried this, and maybe it was like overkill, or maybe it just got to the point of diminishing returns. It could be like, you know, like eating 2 devil fruits. Like your body just can't handle it and you die. Like if you put on 2 tank tops, you just explode or something. But also, it's like, you know, we see Tank Top Master, aside from just using multiple tank tops, he just decides like to use one. Like recently in the webcomic, he used the tight tank top. So maybe that's his fundamental. Like it's not so much as the quantity of tank tops, but more so the quality of them. VertGod24 asks, hey Shonen, hope you had a good week and always keep up the great work. Hey, thank you, VertGod, I appreciate it. My question is exactly, do you think the source is behind Super Ally Darkshine's power is? So I made an entire video dedicated to what I think is going on with him. It's called The Dark Secret of Super Ally Darkshine. And pretty much I came to the conclusion that he's very likely a monster. You know, like he just tapped into like that, you know, somewhere in between human and monster. Like he hasn't lost his humanity exactly, but he's definitely going on the monster's supernatural, you know, power path, because you know, he completely changed into a different being, as Dr. Genus says in his explanation of what's going on with monsters. And, you know, it's prone to people with inferiority complexes like he had. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure he underwent some kind of monstrification to become Darkshine. Zapod B asked, if Hammerhead was scouted by the Neo heroes and given a suit comparable to his own one, would he have been a Neo leader? I don't think so. He would have been a Neo leader candidate, as they say, you know, on that level with Mars, Leo, and Solitude, or Coco, whatever that guy's name was, the cyborg dude. But, I mean, if they just gave him the suit that they were giving everyone else, they're literally both coming from the organization, he would pretty much be the same. So, I don't see him I mean, he would have good strength, but, like, if he were to become like a Neo leader or something, I'm sure Raiden would be like, hey, let's test your power. And then he would just completely destroy him. And they would be like, oh, yeah, you're just candidate level. Do you think it's possible for Phoenix Chickman to join Rover and Black as Saitama's pet? I'm assuming that's where this storyline is headed, right? I mean, if he's surviving and he's going to be like in that little chick form, then I guess he's going to be in the rubble at the end with like Rover and Black S, right? And then he's going to have like this little quartet of monsters following him around, because I guess Monaka is going to be a part of that, right? So I guess that's where things are headed. And also Phoenix Man, I guess they keeping him around because his abilities are going to have some kind of significance in the future of the story, I guess. So that's pretty much it for the video today, guys. Once again, I want to thank all 125 of my incredible patrons. And if you would like to be in next week's Q&A, just simply check out the Patreon. The $5 tier will give you access to this video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.